Hello, the study permit application or student visa application. What to do, how to apply, all these wonderful things. Should you apply on paper or should you apply online? Now we're going to go through those questions, and we're also going to go through the actual walkthrough of the study permit application form and the CIC website. Now, as a full-fledged millennial, I can say that I am 100% online, everything. Pay your bills, everything. Right? I can't fathom how people go into offices and join lines every month to pay their bills. It's just not in my DNA. I just pay it online. I'm speaking to you, Mr. Walters. Anyways, let's do it. Let's get into this student visa application. So in your browser, you're going to go to cic.gc.ca. Boom. And of course, we speak English unless you speak French. And this is the basic website for the CIC, which means CIC stands for Citizenship and Immigration Canada. So it's all about immigration/citizenship, right? And you can really go on here to check the status of your application. If you want to apply for a visitor's visa, a work visa, a study visa, a study permit. So what I'm going through today is about the study permit. So apply for or extend a study permit. And you can go straight into study permit, or you can go and sign in or create an account to apply online, right? And in order to apply online, of course, you have to have an account. But let us see what happens when we click study. All right, so prepare to study in Canada. Where to study, how to apply to schools in Canada, and documents. Like, they provide a lot of information for us to be able to tap into on here. You know what I mean? They have even scholarships for international students. I mean, there's no harm in trying. The worst that could happen is that you don't get a scholarship, but you really have nothing to lose by just applying for a scholarship. Some of them are full scholarships, some of them are part scholarships. So just try. Just go into here and see what it's all about. Get a study permit faster. Oh, interesting. This was not available when I was applying. All right, so get a study permit. Who can apply? Right? A study permit is a document that allows you to study. Great. Do you have to go back home after study? So next, who can apply? Right? And here are the eligibility requirements as to who is able to apply and what your responsibilities are as a student, and the people who don't need a study permit, who can just come to Canada and just study. How to apply. Now, this is the important part, which is what we're really going to go through. How to apply. I mean, get your documents ready. And they do a good job, I think, except for when I was applying and I just decided that I was not going to put the police certificate on there. How to apply. So whether you're outside of Canada, you're inside of Canada, or you are at a port of entry. So you're at like an airport or at the border or something like that. So you can apply online and it will tell you what the fees are and such, right? So ready to get started? To apply online, you need a scanner or a camera to take pictures of your documents and a valid credit or debit card to pay online. That's great. Now you can apply on paper. That means filling it out and printing it. So pros and cons between applying online and applying on paper. I mean, if you don't have a credit card, you probably will have to apply on paper, because if you to apply online, you have to have a credit card. If you want your application I don't know how long it takes them to open it, right? But I know for a fact that they don't open it the moment they get it. They get it and they put it in some sorting facility or put it down, and then they get to it, right? And that's based on my bridged open work permit application that they literally got in November, and they never really opened it until like January of the following year. And similarly with my citizenship application. So to avoid delays, to avoid errors, to avoid paying courier fees, see that? No courier fees. Save time and get case updates online. Hey, so they're like pro online. Clearly they're giving you like all the pros. Avoid processing delays. If we need more information, we can quickly submit it online. If you don't need to submit your passport until we ask for it. Get updates online. So they're like legit telling you all of the reasons why you should apply online. But if you don't, you can apply on paper. And here's one sentence on applying on paper. But I do think that you will save time and there's less room for error when you apply online. So let's go. Apply for a study permit, right? And then it's going to tell you that you need to create an account by using two different methods, right? You can use your online banking and you can just make up your own Government of Canada login, which is called the GC key. I just did the GC key. I'm not interested in connecting my bank account to this. I don't like connecting stuff. So I just continue using a GC key, right? And this is where you can either sign up if you don't have anything, and it's just a matter of putting in your information. You can sign in if you have anything, right? So I'm not going to go through the sign up. I think that I have faith in you people and signing up. So here we go down here now. It's like continue to an application that you haven't submitted. You can start an application online. So boom, apply to come to Canada, right? Please enter your reference code in your application. Now, if you didn't do this, and of course we didn't do that, it's going to ask you to, if you don't have a personal reference code, you need to answer some questions, right? Otherwise, if you have the code and you already answered the questions, you put it here. But since we didn't apply, we didn't do any questions or anything of that nature, let us go ahead and say, okay, so I need to apply for a visitor's visa or a study permit or a work permit, right? So we're gonna go, boom. I need to apply for a study permit. What would you like to do in Canada? You want to study. Where are you planning to stay in Canada? Temporarily for more than 6 months, because any school thing is gonna be about 8 months at least. Select the code that matches your passport. So whichever country you come from, select the country or territory that's of residence. So I'm going to assume that you're outside of the country, right? If you're present in Canada, you should select Canada. If you have any family members in Canada, yes, okay. And your date of birth, let's go there, month, and your day, and you go next, right? Are you a lawful resident of the United States? No. Or if you are, then yes. Have you been accepted to a designated learning institution? All right. This is where they give you basically like a list of all of the schools that are a part of the designated learning institutions. So here you can double check to see if your school is a designated. So if you're coming to Ontario, you can go here and you can filter and see Humber College is there. Or if you're going to Centennial is there, or George Brown, if you can spell it. George Brown is there. But just double check on here to make sure that you're going to a school that is part of what they call the designated learning list of institutions, and make sure that your answer to this question is yes, right? So have you been accepted? Yes. If you haven't been accepted yet, then you're gonna click no. But I mean, you're really applying for a visa now because you've been accepted, right? So I don't really expect that to be no, but if it's no for you, then it's no for you, right? You just say your marital status, all that wonderful stuff. If you're going to Ontario or you're going to Manitoba or Alberta, you just put that stuff there. Not so bad. Your results. Oh, great. You may be eligible to apply for a study permit. Great. So I'm eligible, right? I feel like if you said no to have you been accepted to a school, it wouldn't tell you this. And I'm not going to do that. All right, create your personal checklist. All right, you're almost there. Don't submit multiple applications, okay? Next, do you have a valid work permit or study permit and need a visa to return to Canada? No. Do you have a valid work permit or study permit? No. Next. Are you an exchange student? No. Is work an essential component of your studies? Not generally, no. But I don't know if co-op, work experience. So maybe if this could be yes for you if you're in a co-op program. I'm just gonna leave it as no for now. Is your spouse or common law partner? No. So this is just asking if you have a spouse or a child or something, or certain full-time, or will have status in Canada. So no, right? Are you a recipient of a Commonwealth scholarship, recipient of a full bursary, a participant in a Canadian program. Now, just whatever applies to you, I'm just going to say no, because none of this applied to me when I was applying. And remember, this is based on my application and my experience. So are you accompanying a family member that has status in Canada? No. This means that if you're traveling with somebody, accompanying in the glossary means that you are coming to Canada at the same time as you, right? So I'm going to say no. Have you ever committed, arrested, or jail, all that wonderful stuff? No. Feel like if you said yes, you might have a little bit of trouble. Have you had a medical exam performed by ISCC? And usually that the answer is no, unless you did a medical. And I don't think you need a medical for the study permit. I didn't have to do a medical. I don't know if that has changed, but we're definitely going to find out. Have you visited or lived in any one of the designated countries for the past 6 consecutive months in the last year? One of the designated countries. Now you can click on this and it's going to give you a listing. So just double check to see if you're a part of the list of designated countries. And I'm going to say no, assuming that you're applying from your home country and you haven't been outside of your home country for the last 6 months or anything like that. But double check to see what a designated country is. Do you want to submit an application for a family member? I'm going to say no. If you are coming with your family, no, that's different, right? But we're going to say no for that. Are you giving someone access to this application? If you have a representative that will be doing this on your behalf, like in my case, I did have an immigration consultant do it for me. Do you need to have an immigration consultant? No, you don't. Is it recommended? It's neither recommended or not recommended. I mean, you do benefit from having somebody who is familiar with the process, who knows the ins and the outs, and that will help you to have a strong application. And I mean, if you find that you've already applied, my situation, I applied, I got rejected, and I went to seek help. I wasn't going to try and reapply on my own because clearly I got something wrong. And yes, the document had stated that, okay, you're missing this document. Okay, so is it as simple as, put that document in the application and reapply? Maybe, maybe not. So I'm going to say no for now. If you do have a representative, then yes. I'm just going to say no for now, right? In the past 10 years, have you given your fingerprints or photos to Canada? And this is from the perspective of me, Christina, back in 2013. And my answer to this question was no. There are fees associated. Will you be paying your fees? You're going to say, yes, I will be paying my application fees. And it says that you need to make a digital copy with a scanner. Yes, I'm able to make a digital copy with a scanner or a camera, right? And you'll be paying online. Do you have a credit card or a debit card or something? We're going to say yes. Right. So here are the answers to your questions, which is great. And everything is filled in for you. And you can double check to make sure that the information is not incorrect, because that can be seen as misrepresentation. And we're going to go and continue. So now it's just like submitting your application. So step 1, you must be logged in. Step 2, save your application. Step 3, upload your documents, and they will give you a checklist of what documents you need to upload. And step 4, pay the money. All right, so here's your document checklist, right? And that was easy to get to this step, really. Just answering a couple questions. And you can also go back and modify your questions if you find that your date of birth is incorrect or something is incorrect. Always just go back and double check before you submit, right? And this is the application for a study permit made outside of Canada. And the form, that's the form there, and it's actually just right here. If you click it, it won't open. What you have to do is right click, save the link as, save it as something somewhere, and then you're able to open it. All right, boom. And here's your form, right? So don't try to open it in your browser, it won't work. Right click, save as, and then you have the application form here, which is really self-explanatory. It's really just asking you about all the information about yourself, your identity, your last jobs, your educational background, your employment, and everything that's relevant to you is going to be on this paper. And when you get to the end of filling it out, you're going to boom, validate. Now, if you're stumbling upon like some of the questions here, you can just comment below and say, what does it mean by your current marital status or something that you're confused by. I mean, if we can help, we can help. If not, we can refer you to an immigration lawyer. to get you some assistance there, but I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory, and you can always just message below if you don't think so, right? This part is very important. Funds available for my stay. No, before I get in too far to the thing, I'm going to put in Canada study permit, proof of funds. Just Google that, right? And what you're looking for is something that is from CIC, right? Get a study permit in Canada, right? So this is from the government website. Nowhere else am I looking for references for this information, right? People have their own opinions or own theories. Go to the website and you're safe and sound in this black and white area here. Proof of acceptance, proof of financial support. So here's what they say, right? Once you are coming to school in Canada outside of Quebec, so outside of Quebec is every other province, Ontario, Alberta, Manitoba, Nova Scotia, if people are going to the Atlantic provinces. So what they're saying that if you are one person, you need to do, in addition to your tuition, you need $10,000, right? And then if you're carrying a family member with you, it's an additional $4,000. And if you're carrying 2 family members, it's at $4,000 plus an additional $3,000. And then they give you an example here. So if you and 2 family members want to come to a province outside of Quebec, you need one tuition plus $10,000. And tuition right now is about 17,000 Canadian. So you're going to need about 27,000 Canadian to show as proof of funds, right? And then now if you bring in your child with you or your spouse, you're going to need an additional $4,000 as proof of funds. And then if the child is coming with you now, you need an additional $3,000, right? So the total is tuition plus 17,000 if you're not coming by yourself, right? If you're coming by yourself, that's all it is, right? $10,000. Now, if you're going to Quebec, these are what the numbers look like, where they actually require some more money. Don't ask me why, because I don't know. Right? So look at this. I like this part here, right? Somebody previously asked me, okay, he came to school. He went to school in Jamaica, but he didn't finish. He stopped and now is intending to finish school in Canada. Is it okay? Will he still get through? And my response was, I don't think you should have a problem. I think once you show proper proof that you intend to come to school in Canada, an acceptance letter. And then what I also said to him is that you can provide a letter of explanation stating why you stopped school there and why you want to pursue studies in Canada. So see this thing on CIC right here, just saying letter and explanation, right? This letter helps the visa officer understand what you and your goals are about, right? Why do you want to study in Canada? And that you understand the responsibilities of a student. And you should include this letter if you decide to apply for study permits, even though you are exempt. Right? So this is not a must. You don't have to do it, but they're saying that you should, even though it is not one of the requirements, right? So pay attention to stuff like this, and the letter doesn't have to be like crazy. Now I'm going to look for my letter of explanation if I put one there and let you know what mine says, but this is what the black and white says from the government website, but just talk them up. Talk up why you want to come to Canada. Be honest, but also write it thinking about the fact that you are trying to convince them. This is an interview, and you're trying to convince them that you intend to study. You actually intend to study and not run off in the country. And why Canada? You know what I mean? There's so many places in the world. Why Canada? Why not your own country? So let's go right back to this wonderful page here, right? So we open this up. We know that you have to fill this out. Once you fill it out, upload the file, right? And then here is your wonderful checklist, right? Very simple in terms of, you need to upload your passport. Great. What about your passport do you need to upload? And you must do the page, that's the first page that shows you a picture and all that wonderful stuff. And I know that everybody has a beautiful passport picture. Not me. And any pages that have stamps or visa with markings, right? If you don't have a passport, then you know what it is that you need to upload. I don't have a situation where I never had a passport, but if you have a travel document or something of that wonderful nature, then that's what you put right here. So, right? Letter of acceptance from the school, means of financial support. Now there are several things that you can do here, right? If you are visiting Canada, you must prove that you can support yourself and the family members that you come. So, so you're talking about bank statements, you're talking about pay stub, employment letter, proof of assets, proof of payment of tuition and accommodation fees, right? And it's not saying give it everything, but provide as many of these documents as you can, right? And it will help them to be convinced that you're actually going to school, right? Proof of a Canadian bank account if you have no money in Canada, proof of funding paid within Canada, a letter from a person or institution providing you with money. Now, what I did when I was doing mine, right, was my father wrote a letter which is called an affidavit of support, and it is essentially saying, hello people, my daughter is broke, but we are acknowledging that we will help her out a little bit. In addition to the affidavit of support, he also provided a bank statement saying that he has X amount of money, which is really just being able to prove that, okay, you're saying all these wonderful things that you're planning to pay, but show me the proof that you have the money to pay for a letter from the person or institution providing you with money, right? Proof of a student education from a If you have a scholarship, put all of that under here, everything that you need to do, right? A digital photo, and then they give you the requirements of the photo in terms of what size. The picture must be this big by this big pixels, and it must be the frame of this millimeter by this millimeter. It must be good resolution, and the size and the file format, right? And then this one is your family information, which is really just, and we're going to save this link as we did with the first one. It is really just, so it's going to say, okay, family information. So you are application type, you're a visitor. Sorry, you are going to be a student, right? And who are you? My name is such and such. And do you have a spouse? You put your spouse. You have a mother, put your mother. You have a father, put your father. Do you have any children? Include all sons and daughters and all adopted children, right? So you have your children there. And then now put your brothers and your sisters, all your brothers and sisters, half brother, step brother, all kind of brother. And that is basically your immediate family information, which they require to have on file, right? Now, that is the extent of what is a must, what must be done. Now, somebody has said to me, and I really, really, really believe that the reason I didn't put a police certificate is because there was not a section on here of a police certificate. So clearly they don't need it, obviously, or they would have put it, right? Anyways, there is a second area right here that says you can attach like an additional document if you're applying from outside of Canada, which of course you need to. Schedule 1, you need that. And then here is where you can attach all the wonderful things that are not included here, like a police certificate, like an affidavit of support, like anything that you think will contribute to your application in terms of making it a strong application and making sure that they approve it. You can attach that, right? So it says if you'd like to provide more information, what you can also put here is a letter of explanation. I think that's what they put here. You can attach a letter of explanation to your application. Now, what I did here, I think maybe proof of financial support. Yes, I had a letter from my father to say that, I will support her, but I also had a letter from my aunt who I was going to live with in Canada, and a job letter from her. So I had a letter from her stating that she's my aunt and she will accommodate me while I live here, and she works at this place and makes this amount of money. And she also got a letter from her workplace to confirm what she's saying, and also her birth certificate. So I think I had to attach my father's birth certificate, my aunt's birth certificate, my own birth certificate, my mother's birth certificate to show that my aunt is my aunt, the affidavit of support from each of them, and the job letters from each of them, right? And then here is where you put your police certificate as well as your letter of explanation. Now, how do you know on here that you need a police certificate? And that's a damn good question, right? No, I actually don't feel so bad that I got rejected the first time because it's not here. So what we're going to do now is going to look up a checklist. There must be a checklist on here, right? There must be a checklist on here. check visa office instruction in your country. Well, that's interesting. So apply for online or paper. So say for instance you're applying from Jamaica, get documents, right? Here's the wonderful, glorious document checklist. And this application package is for applicants in Jamaica, right? So you choose whatever country. I choose Jamaica, guys. I'm from Jamaica, all right? Checklist, boom. So we're gonna save that as, again, all of the document them can't open online. Why? No. Nope. Right? Here is a beautiful document checklist, right? So now you don't have no excuse, guys. There's no excuse to leave anything off. And I think that this is where I probably saw the police certificate rara and still didn't do it, because I was like, well, it's not on the website, so clearly you don't need it, right? So you need the application form, you need the family information form, you need a statutory declaration of common law if you are common law, right? Use of a representative if you're using a representative, authority to release personal information to somebody, and custodial declaration for minors studying in Canada, right? So you need to pay the fees. So pay the fees and do all that wonderful stuff. A photocopy of the information page of your passport, which includes your passport number, issuance date, and all that wonderful stuff. And ensure that you have that, right? 2 pictures. And that is if it's a paper application. If it's online, you just take 1 picture and attach it online. Yeah, see that? If you are required to provide biometric fingerprints and photo, you are not required to include paper photos with your application. Right? Document list. So now you need a letter of acceptance where you intend to study. You need a letter of approval, and this is for if you're in Quebec, as far as I understand here. Proof of financial support, we read that already. Photocopy of your marriage license certificate, any additional documents required by the responsible visa office. Now that is vague. That is vague, guys. Like, it doesn't even say police certificate on here. So you know what? I think it's a good idea to call CIC and just confirm if you need a study permit, a police certificate or not, because nowhere on here says you need a police certificate. And I'm not going to tell you that this is the same document checklist that I had in 2013. I do recall seeing police certificates on there, but there's no section to upload a police certificate, right? So if you already have it, you already uploaded police certificate, attach it to the client information part right here, so just do it right there, so, and then just deal with that. And call CIC just to make sure. And if you call them, ask them to send you an email to confirm the information that they've just told you, right? Because nowhere on here is saying police certificate. Nowhere on here. Here's what we're gonna Google. Do I need a police certificate to apply for a study permit in Canada? I'm sure we're not the only one asking this, right? Or about police certificates. So let's go to this side right here. So, right, about police certificates. Now, what is a police certificate? We know who needs a police certificate, right? That's very important. Now, you and your family, 18 or older, may need to get, depending on what you're applying to. That's not helpful, guys. This is why I'm here. This is why there's other people on here too that want to give you the information, because we've been through the process already, because it's not clear. It's not clear. If you have applied for a study permit and you did not put a police certificate and you got approved, guys, message below so that we can connect with you, or so that we can have social proof that you don't need it. Because anyways, here's where you can go to get a police certificate and when to submit a police certificate. So here we go. This is very helpful, kind of. Okay, if you're doing express entry, you have to have it. If you are an international experienced candidate, you need to have it. If you are an applicant for another immigration or citizenship program, that doesn't help. Check the instruction guide for what you are applying for. Oh, it's at the top. Study in Canada. I'm going to click that. Apply online. Here's the instruction guide, right? So now we're going to check the instruction guide. Sorry. overview before you apply, gather the documents, all that wonderful stuff. So here's the overview. Right, let's just scroll down. You know what, let us just do a search. Let's just search the whole page and type in police. POLICE. It appears 2 places on this thing, right? 1, 2. So they're saying, of course, they ask you a question about, are you a law-abiding citizen? And you say yes. You've never been convicted of a crime. You've never been to prison, all that stuff. And my assumption now is that if you answer yes, you're a law-abiding citizen, or you've never been convicted or anything like that, a police certificate is proof to support that claim. That's the only thing I can think of that says yes, you must provide it. But there's nothing on here that says you should. Are law-abiding and have no records of criminal activity, you may be asked to provide a police certificate. So I don't know why, if it's not 100% clear, I may be asked, you may be asked. If I'm not 100%, if it's not 100% clear, why reject my visa? Why not just say, oh, by the way, Christina, we got your application. We noticed that you didn't provide a police certificate. Provide it again. Just provide it for me now. Let me wait. Instead of telling you to go pay you another money. Anyways. So, guys, yeah, it doesn't say 100%, but feel free to call CIC and ask them if you need to apply it or if you need to add it, right? That's essentially it for that part. I'm not gonna go through that because it's gonna make me crazy. And here is it now where you have to pay some money. So here's what it costs to apply for a study permit in Canada, right? So that is essentially your application process for this wonderful study permit, right? Check out some more of our videos that can help you to understand more about the study permit and the student visa application. And remember to subscribe. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with people, and I appreciate the time you've taken to watch this video. I will see you soon in the next video.